Okay, so say we create a variable named country, and we're gonna have USA as its value. When we press enter, this is creating a variable called country, and it's reflected in the environment pane, and we can see country in here, right? And if you were to remove this country, so remove RM, now it's gone again. Okay, so environment reflects the variables, the data frames. We haven't learned about that, but the vectors, all of the objects that you create and you bring into your environment, you're gonna see them listed up right here. Okay, so I'm gonna hit up again to go back to my previous commands. Press enter. This is again, I just created another variable again called country USA. I can create a salesperson, and I'm gonna say Katie. Now I have two variables, right? I can use the broom here to clean and to remove both variables from my environment, or I could use remove from here. That would remove Katie from the environment. And if we switch over to the history tab, this is a history of all of those things that we just created. So you can see country, we created country, and then we gave it a value of USA. Well, that's reflected in here. And I've created a variable called salesperson Katie, and see if I look at the environment again, I only have country pointing to value of USA. But if I look at my history, so this is a history, a lot of all of the commands that I've just issued since I began my session. And I can click on this and hit on to console, and it would bring it to the console. Now alternatively, I could also click on this and I could just press enter on my keyboard, and it would also send it over to the console. I can hit enter again, and now it's created another environment called salesperson. Use get WD to find out where we are currently on, where we are currently at on the computer. So we find that I'm currently on this folder. This is get working directory, so this stands for get working directory, and I could see a list of all my directories and files and folders, right? When I say directories, think of folders, and I can see a list of all my folders and files right in this directory. And I could change that. I could say set working directory. Instead of get working directory, instead of a G, I put an S, right? And I can say set working directory to where? To my desktop. And that would actually bring me to all the files that are on my desktop. I could see all my files in here. So if I want to read a file and it's on my desktop and I don't want to figure out the path to that, I could just set my working directory to desktop and I could go with that. Later on, you'll learn a better way to manage all of this, and that's through the RStudio projects feature, and we talk about that in a future video. So files give you a very convenient built-in sort of viewer or a finder. If you're on a Mac or PC, you probably use that a lot. There is a Windows and you can find different files and all of that in here. Plots appear as you create plots. So if I say plot 1 to 20, well, I see a random plot in here. If I say plot 1 to 20 and give it a main title of my random plot, it shows up as a random plot right here. I can create a histogram again. Now give me a histogram. I could export this plot into I could show you what it looks like. PNG, JPEG, and all of this. I could change the width and height. I could also copy that to a clipboard and then paste it into my Keynote or PowerPoint on an email, for example. I could save this as a PDF. Packages, where earlier we talked about Facebook's initiative in the open source. We talked about profit in the earlier chapter. So this is how people contribute to the open source community, and that is that at some point you create some really useful packages, and a package is just a fancy way of saying that a bundle of code, right? You write a set of code, maybe it does a couple of things, and you want to provide that functionality to the greater community, and the way you do that is by packaging it up and then allowing people to install your package. And that's what a package is. Okay, and under the packages pane, you can see a list of all the installed packages on my PC, on my laptop. I could see all of these are the packages that I've installed, and you can install a package either through the command line, talk about that as well, or from this install panel as well. Okay, now earlier you see this hist right here, and you said, hey, well, I wonder what that is, right? You said, hey, I forgot about, I know I've come across this in your video, but now I can't recall what his is. All you need to do is to just type that into the help feature, JIST, press enter, and it will open that up, histogram. So if you see plot, for example, it will open that up. Okay, so there's a built-in documentation to RStudio, and you can find all of these different R functions at any point in time. You don't need an internet connection, it's built right into RStudio, so you could use that as a very handy way of doing that. You could also put a question mark before any of these things that you just created. So for example, if I say plot, if I put a question mark plot, it opens up this. If I put a question mark hist, it opens that up. It shows you, okay, what is this? Well, it's actually a function to create histograms. We'll talk about Vue in a future video, but it's a built-in browser for you to browse your HTML files and your PDF files and so on and so forth. We'll talk about that in more details in a future video.